Hello dear listener, it is time for the VR Shiz show once again. We are back on track. Things are rolling smoothly along. Enjoy what you got right here, right now with your favorite podcast hosts named Richard and Vince.
Welcome to the VR Shiz show.
I'm Vince.
I'm Richard, and this is the first time in a long time that we've remembered to introduce our names.
We're evolving. I can't wait till the next episode where we devolve and forget all of it.
Don't say that, Vince. This is a high-quality production.
It's a high-quality production. That's the...
We have the scripts right in front of us as to what we're supposed to say. I wrote all of it out.
To be fair, last week we did actually write down ideas. So we're making progress.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it's good progress. We're going to take like 2 steps forward and then accidentally fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this episode.
Yes. So
we actually discussed it right beforehand too. The theme or the topic, I should say, overall of today is also going to tie into our media consumed.
Oh, I mean, I was just going to keep it as a separate topic because I was going to talk about the game.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, like, they're both kind of in line with what we're going to talk about, though, right?
Maybe?
I think so.
All right.
But we don't have to keep in line with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Media consumed.
I think I'll go first this time around for media consumed.
Very cool.
So I finally bought Hades on PC. It was the last day of Steam sale. And I decided, yes, I'm going to buy it. I want to play it. So I bought it and I played it. And lo and behold, since like 3 days of having it installed, I have 13 hours.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It taps into so many things that I love about game design and how it handles everything.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm trying to digest the canes that's like still stuck in my throat.
That we just ate. Yeah.
That nice thick cane sauce.
It's good. It's good.
It's good sauce. But apparently you can make it yourself at home and it's real cheap and easy and it tastes exactly the same. So don't overspend and buy more sauce. You can do it at home. Anyway, the game of Hades is a roguelite, which already makes it, fantastic. You can only go up from a point like that. It's an excellent start.
I'm not usually one for that kind of game.
Well, yeah, but you're bad.
Yes. Thank you for that attack. I was going to make a positive I didn't know why you have to be so negative there, man. I was going to make a positive thing about it.
It's the podcast dynamic. One of us has to be good. One of us has to be evil.
So this time I'm not evil. Okay, that's good. I didn't know we made a...
No, you're the good robot.
I'm the good robot. Okay. I was going to say, it's not usually my flavor of game, but I get paid in 2 days, and I've legitimately been thinking, like, I think I'm going to buy this.
It is also on the Switch.
Yes, I did see that.
They do have cross-compatibility with saves.
Ooh, that's nice, actually.
Yes. So, the game is isometric, very Diablo style of how it goes through. It's not totally as loot-focused as Diablo is.
Yes.
Or I guess it is, because you get a piece of loot at the end of every encounter. So it's it's basically if Diablo was a roguelite and not made by Blizzard and not garbage.
Okay.
Diablo 3 I loved so much and put stupid amounts of time into, to the point where because in that game there's no controller support and I didn't have a controller that I could have plugged in anyway, but you have to click to where to go. And with how much I clicked in high school, I literally got a muscle sprain in my wrist.
Tense.
I literally...
That's ridiculous.
I could not snap. I remember, I was trying to snap, and I physically couldn't do the motion to snap my fingers. It was how much I was straining my hand to play Diablo 3.
I will say, I did get to see you play some of it, and I did watch some other people play it, but the visuals are very nice. The game looks really
exactly why it should have won that game award.
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley, I know you decide all of the awards on your own.
Yes, it's very nice to see that people are still friends in the game industry. Obviously, Jeff Keighley is very good friends with Neil Druckmann, but yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
But the voice acting is pretty great in that.
The voice acting is hilarious. I think my favorite character is Dusa.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little Gorgon head who's the maid of your house in Hades.
Yeah, which is a nod to Medusa.
Yes.
Very cool.
And she is just very flirtatious with you on a hilarious note. Like, she's like, hi, how are you doing? The voice acting for Dusa is so good.
I'm already sold. I'll have to buy the game.
The story is very bare bones, which, oh well. It has more story than most roguelites.
Which is to say, not a lot, but still enough.
Yeah, because it just centers on, ooh, I hate my dad. I'm going home, or leaving home. But the mechanics are so tight, so fluid. I was worried because it started out as a not an alpha, a whatever Steam garbage, early access. That's the word.
Okay.
Started out as early access, which is basically never a good sign.
It was from
Suingiant. It was from Supergiant.
Which I've heard they make pretty
They
fantastic.
make very visually impressive, very high quality games. They're all pretty much isometric.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if they have any that aren't. But isometric, that kind of perspective. And again, the visuals are so incredible because it's all 2D except for like a few models, which are all cel shaded.
Yeah.
And they definitely stick out more than the 2D does, but it blends in all very, very cohesively and it looks fantastic.
Okay.
And the other thing is the music. It has like lyres and stuff in it. And lutes and stuff, but it also has super thick and crunchy bass, and it is so good.
I was like, that's what you enjoy. So
It is incredible music, soundtrack, voice acting, everything about it. So much good gameplay. I'm going to be playing this game for too long, putting too many hours into it. I'm starting to understand, Spelunky 2. Spelunky 2 is definitely number 2 for me this year.
It is crazy how quickly Hades dethroned that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man.
Good stuff.
But yeah, played a lot of that. Yeah.
So you would recommend it?
No, I gave that raving review to say don't buy it. Let me be the only one who plays it. No one else. It's my game.
Okay.
Vince, you're not allowed to buy it when you get home.
All right. I'll have someone gift it to me then.
No, not allowed either. Tell them that I said they can't.
Okay. I mean, I'm actually just happy that I'm able to access your library again, but
oh yeah,
I don't know what was going on with that.
Because Steam's garbage.
That was hilarious. The funny thing is, I found a game like that for myself. I ended up playing Yakuza 0 this time instead of Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
I have poured so many hours into that. And then something happened yesterday where the Game Pass decided to not load the game. And I was really scared that I had lost all my data, so I had to uninstall the game. And I reinstalled it, and it worked fine. But
yeah, I mean, they normally do cloud saves.
It was really scary, though. I was like, please, I was trying to figure out everything I could think of. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Because I talked about Yakuza, even though it's a different game, I think 2 episodes ago. And as much as I love that series, I will gush on it later as I go into the other games. I've decided that I'm going to go through that entire series, which is going to be great. but I can already tell this is quickly going to be probably one of my favorite series of all time. Probably like number 2 right under Danganronpa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that good. It's already made me feel, and it's made me laugh a lot. And there are times where I'm like, I'm not ready for how heavy this is going to be. But it's really good. Anyways.
Weird to me, like, just how much the Yakuza games have, like, come to the forefront of, like...
I'm glad, though. They're definitely memeable. 100%. But at the same time...
But it was, like, a year ago, or 2 years ago, I had never even heard of Yakuza as a franchise.
I've heard of it, but I was just like, I don't think it's a game I'd like. And then, then I got into Danganronpa, and then after that, it was just like, yeah, I can get into pretty much anything except sports games. That was the whole premise.
Boy, you telling me you didn't like Mario Super Sluggers?
Okay, to be fair, I'm talking about realistic sports games. Like,
those aren't games, those are trash, Vince. We don't count those.
That's what I mean.
Anything made by EA Sports past, like, 2008...
Yeah,
garbage.
The last good game that they made was Fight Night Champion.
Yeah.
Fantastic boxing game. But let's go back to this. What I was actually going to talk about was Godzilla Tokyo SOS.
Nice.
Now, I have been buying all of the Godzilla movies that I can find on Blu-ray. Right now, I have 19 of them. There is 12 more to go.
You'll get there.
Actually, now I have 20 of them because I also have Godzilla King of the Monsters on Blu-ray as well. So 20 and then 11 more to go. But so obviously, this movie was made, I think if I remember correctly, I think that specific one was made I think right before the beginning of this century, if I'm not mistaken. So the whole premise is, if you don't know about Godzilla, I think it has the 3 different periods: the Showa, the Heisei, and the Millennium period. I think it's only 3. So one of them actually has a very cohesive story for Godzilla.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like...
There's not a lot of cohesiveness. Oh, it's actually 2003, so it is the newer series.
Nice.
So the thing is, in this version of Godzilla, it kind of goes back to its roots, where Godzilla is the bad guy, because he was the bad guy in the first movie.
Yeah.
He is the bad guy in this one, but the thing is, so it takes the premise of the first one, it's a sequel to the first one, but it's also technically a sequel in its own thing. Because what happens is in Tokyo SOS, Godzilla comes back. And beforehand, Godzilla had fought Mechagodzilla. But at this point, this Mechagodzilla was created by humans. Because the original Mechagodzilla was created by aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different timeline. But the origins all rest in the first movie, where he dies in the beginning at the end of the first movie. So for this Mechagodzilla, what they do is they need to give him a very good, strong structure. So they take the bones of the Godzilla that had died and was killed by the oxygen destroyer, put it inside of this Godzilla as the structure, and then at the end of that movie, the one right before this one, it turns out that Godzilla's soul is still very much active and angry that they're using his bones. So he takes over the Mechagodzilla and helps Godzilla destroy Tokyo.
All right.
So, now on to Tokyo SOS.
Well, but before that, isn't that what they teased at the end of King of the Monsters? Where they had him, like, collect the bones at the end of it?
Oh, so they were collecting King Ghidorah's head.
Well, yeah, it was King Ghidorah.
But... That actually is a reference to a different character, Mecha King Ghidorah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same premise.
It's the same premise. I'm very excited for that because King Ghidorah, Mecha King Ghidorah, I love them so much. They're my favorite bad guys. Yeah. Although he does lose a lot. Mothra has beaten Godzilla more times than King Ghidorah has. A literal moth has beaten more than a 3-headed dragon.
But he's big.
That is fair. Yeah, Mothra, the queen of the monsters, she has whooped Godzilla, I think, 3 separate occasions.
Wow.
But I think it's a contractual obligation at this point where she has to die after every movie. So she dies more than Krillin, but she still takes out the main character every time. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
So, okay. So, this movie... They bring him back because Godzilla comes back, but it's not properly ready because they don't have the Ultimate Zero cannon, which is basically Or the Absolute Zero cannon, which is, you know what Absolute Zero is?
It's cold.
Yes. So they use that because Godzilla, because of the radiation, he's a very heated boy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also still technically cold-blooded. So Absolute Zero cannon does hurt him really bad. But it was damaged in the last movie, and they're like, hey, we don't have this. How are we going to fight Godzilla? Because he's coming back.
Yeah.
They decided to do it anyways. But then Mothra comes, and then her babies come. Mm-hmm. So it takes 2 Mothra larvae, a Mothra, and a Mecha Godzilla to take out actual Godzilla.
Yeah.
And at the end of it all, right when it looks like they're about to kill Godzilla, because they finally incapacitate him, put him in webbing, because that's what Mothra's babies can do. They can shoot webs, which is not correct, but I mean they're mutated, so. And then
silkworms.
So, fair enough. So Godzilla's bones come back to life again at the end.
Yeah.
And he looks at the sad state of this Godzilla, but then he also realizes that he's forever going to be trapped in the Mechagodzilla body. Mm-hmm. And in order to stop the destruction, my man's literally picks up the cocooned Godzilla and launches themselves into the... What is the name of that really deep trench in the Pacific?
Marianas?
Yes. Just as far as he can.
I mean, that's what you got to do.
Now, granted, it's 2003, and if you know anything about Japan CGI...
Oh, I thought when you said, like, they went back to their roots, that also implied they went back to suits?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm talking about the special effects that they had to use for the blasts and stuff. You'll eventually watch the series with me and just wonder, because I did too, as I got older. I'm like, how did this series get so big? I love Godzilla to death. I've seen... practically all of the movies. I think I'm only missing 2 at this point. Mm-hmm. And have poured so much time into listening to essays, themes, things like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's literally just a dude in a goofy rubber suit.
Yeah.
And that's 100% what it is in this one. The Mechagodzilla literally just looks like a toy. But it's still it was a good movie overall. Like, nice. It was great to watch. But it was one of those things like, man, I popped off watching this stuff as a kid. But as an adult, I'm like, ooh, that looks really cheesy. I'm still about it, but oof.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun, but I would only ever recommend it to people that have watched Godzilla and know some of its lore.
This is not an entry-level film.
No, if you're going to get an entry-level film, either watch the legendary versions, the American ones, watch Shin Godzilla, or watch the original. Yeah. Because those are the only ones that will make sense when you watch it on the first time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Nice. And it's time for that trash segment, the life and times of one Fred Durst.
Oh, this one will be very quick as well.
Yeah.
Because this is the one I was going to use last week before the one we had. His net worth currently, even now, is $100 million.
Why?
That is a lot of people with bad taste in music.
Why?
There's a lot of people with bad taste in music, bro. I don't... Like, you know that I unironically love Limp Bizkit a lot.
Yeah, but like... 100 million. That's a little steep.
Yeah. Actually, I'll throw this one in too. His home was burned down in the California fires of 2018. Where one of his bandmates still had all of their equipment because they were planning to record together. Yeah. I think the Lord himself did not want Limp Bizkit to come back.
I see what you're doing there, Fred. Not gonna let it happen.
Not gonna let it happen. I mean, to be fair, considering everything that happened last year and this year, he could be attempting to make another album right now, and the Lord is just doing everything he can to make sure it's not
all
happening.
Of the events from 2016 onward are leading to the ultimate release of a new Limp Bizkit album.
Yeah, that's when he unveils the first seal, my dude. I like how ridiculous the lore has gotten because we just go with it. But yes, we are able to finally invoke his name, and we are no longer going to mess up as much.
We're going to mess up. It's just not because of his name anymore.
Yes, we have taken it, and it is ours to behold. So let's talk about
the burden to bear.
It is. and no one else is willing to take it.
Yeah.
I am cursed with knowledge.
Fred cursed, man.
I hate that. I hate that so much. I can't believe that made me... Oh, gosh.
I made that joke on an episode long ago that I just named that episode.
And I think I laughed just as much as I did that time, too.
It's because it's a good joke.
It's a good joke. Okay, so what is the topic we are talking about today?
So, we are on to nostalgia because I watched a thing, you watched a thing, and we can talk about how those things have changed since we were itty-bitty boys. Because nostalgia changes things.
Yes, it does.
As you may have noticed. So, I watched, a little while back, Disney's Atlantis. Mm-hmm. The first one.
I forget that there's a second one.
There is a second one.
It happened.
It did happen. That's what you could say. But I watched Atlantis because I saw... Now that I have the ability to watch Disney Plus, I mentioned, all the other garbage that I watched.
Yeah.
Mandalorian and all that. I decided, you know what? They have Atlantis. I'm going to watch that. Then I watched it. And I said, wow, that was an alright movie. Why does everyone hype it up? Why did I even hype it up in my own mind as like, man, I remember this thing was fantastic.
Oh.
It's alright because the movie... It is visually incredible in some moments. And visually, I can see where you really didn't feel the budget needed to be spent here in other moments.
We do have a lot of good memes from it. We have a lot of good reactions that we share.
I think my favorite is the image of, what's his main character? Milo. It's him.
That one?
It is.
I was looking for that one yesterday.
The freeze frame where he's just going... It's like, what kind of girls do you like? It's just him going that.
I was looking for that one yesterday because we were making jokes in one of the chats. And I'm like, where is it? I forgot to ask you for it. I'm so mad.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, okay, so...
But it has good memes.
Yeah.
The general military guy in the movie... And some moments it looked like he's a duck with how they decided to animate his lips. If you rewatch the movie, you'll understand what I mean when I say he looked a little bit like a duck.
Have you ever watched, just side note, have you ever watched Avatar?
The Last Airbender?
No, the blue people. The blue people.
Yeah.
The general in that movie just reminds me of the general from Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same movie. Just
with
blue people.
Yeah.
Instead of people with blue crystals.
Yeah, blue crystals and underwater versus different planet and blue people.
Yeah. The animation, like I said, the moments when it's incredible, it's absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. The sound design, it may just be the fact that I'm still adjusting to the fact that I have a soundbar with a nice subwoofer. But boy, does that movie sound great.
I think you're just going to flex that every single episode.
Guys, did you know that I bought things recently? Guys, I got a second job and I bought things.
It is a very nice soundbar, though. We got to watch some movies on it, and it was pretty fantastic.
But, no, the sound design in the movie is fantastic. Mm-hmm. The story, though. This is when I'm like, yeah, kids really don't care. Because...
It's very generic.
The plot is very generic. It has room to grow. Like, the world is very interesting. They could have told the story with these characters many different ways. Each of the characters is fantastically well written.
Yes.
But the overarching plot is a little weak. Mm-hmm. And the story beats go by really fast. You're suddenly here, you're suddenly here, you're suddenly here. The movie goes by real quick through everything that it wants to do. A movie nowadays, again, I'm comparing this to some of my favorite films, which are slow.
Yeah.
Like, comparing this to, like, Blade Runner. Blade Runner, you're sitting there, you're taking it in.
The thing is with the movies that you like, I think they are slow, but they have a good payoff.
Yes.
Which a lot of movies lack, unfortunately.
even the movies that I enjoy that are long, they're paced pretty well for the most part. There are some movies where I know they drag on.
Yeah. They're still enjoyable.
Yes. But I understand when a movie is too long. This movie feels too short. Because it's about the right length, but there's so much that they squeeze in with it that I'm just like, yeah.
If they would have taken some of those parts out and tightened some of the other areas, it would have been.
But when you're a kid, you're like, whoa, people and crystals and robots and
yeah, fair.
That's so cool. And they got explosions. And they got the man and the science man, and yeah, that's exactly how nostalgia worked. Because I could not tell you what the plot was before I rewatched the movie. Having rewatched the movie, the plot is exactly what I imagined it would be. Because it's so by the numbers.
Yeah. The thing is with me, I don't mind generic stories or even generic ideas if they're executed well.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, we're at a place where we're oversaturated with so many ideas.
Yes.
That you're going to have trouble not stepping on someone's toes.
Yeah.
So why not tell a story that's been told, but tell it well? Because more often than not, that makes up for flaws. But I think with Atlantis, as much as I do love the movie, there are certain areas that are just not told well.
No.
It's a bit weak sometimes.
Yeah, it's such a rushed plot. Like, the beginning of the movie starts off pacing pretty darn well. Of like, this is Milo, this is his character, these are his passions, you can see it. He's already getting into trouble with these people, da-da-da-da-da. And then 2 minutes later, he's on his way to Atlantis, and you're like, hold up.
Are there deleted scenes?
I feel like there should have been moments in there to build up to, all right, he's on the boat to Atlantis.
It's because we don't have the Zack Snyder cut. That's why.
You're right.
We need that.
Release the Zack Snyder cut of Atlantis.
There's another hour that we're missing, bro. Where he fights the main bad guy and
You're right.
Milo whispers Martha into his ear. I'm so sorry.
I want to see someone make that edit.
That would be... Wait, I have a computer now. I think I can do it. That would be hilarious.
Gosh, you're just going to rip the entirety of both those movies and just shove them into some garbage monstrosity?
That's how most edits are done.
Fair.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay, so now watching it again. So watching it as a kid, how much would you say you enjoyed the movie?
I mean, I thought it was really awesome.
Okay.
Because I had the McDonald's toys
that
squirted water.
I remember the ship.
I had
dope.
I didn't have the ship. I had the giant lobster that defends the entrance.
Yeah.
And then it has the tail that opens the claws and it squirts.
That was such a cool toy.
But yeah, no. Watching it as a kid is fantastic. You see the visuals and you're only going to remember the cool parts.
That is fair.
You're not going to remember Mr. Duckface.
Cuz you're not looking for those things.
No.
Okay, so what would you say about it now, though?
Now, like I said, it's not a bad movie.
No.
It's built up in people's minds because I see memes about it where people talk about, why is no one talking about Atlantis? Da-da-da-da-da, about Atlantis.
It's just a movie not worth talking.
And having rewatched it, I'm like, yeah, I understand why Disney wasn't thrilled with its box office performance. I can understand why Disney wanted to... figure out what to do.
I feel like Treasure Planet's in that same area.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same studio and everything. It's all the same animation style.
I rewatched Treasure Planet a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it definitely does have flaws, but I think overall it's a better movie. But they just didn't believe in it, so they lost a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
I think for me, like I said, the only thing for me would literally just be that Godzilla movie that I watched, because some of the... Oh man, if you have never seen Japanese CGI, there is a reason why there are very little anime that are done in 3D. And when they are done in 3D, they're almost never good. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about like incredible good. I'm talking about decent. Like it's passable. Because I watched some, I got to see some of the scenes a little bit more in depth with watching Tokyo SOS, and I was just like, Man, I'm really glad I'm a Godzilla fan. I do not think I'd be able to watch this movie otherwise. This is, oof.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff, like the rubber Godzilla. Granted, he looked intimidating in this, but it's just like, he doesn't look like the CG Godzilla that we have now in Legendary.
Yeah.
We're very pampered with Legendary Godzilla. The boy looks intimidating and
Yes.
feels real.
Yes.
But then you watch this movie, and it's just let me because I was just looking up the movie when I was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you a picture of my boy. It's great. I loved the movie, but it's just you can't take it seriously if. Granted, you can't take it seriously because it's just Godzilla, but like he looks a bit more intimidating. But you can tell it's just a suit.
Yeah.
And then King Ghidorah, I'm sorry, Mecha. Wow, why did I make that? I'm not a Godzilla fan.
Wow, what are you, an amateur Godzilla fan?
I was gonna say Mecha Godzilla. He just looks like a very marketable toy.
Yeah. No, I remember those toys in Toys R Us.
They were so cool.
They were rad. I wanted to buy one, but they were big and I didn't have room.
Oh, here's a fight scene right there.
All right.
They use the little like poppers and everything, like the small fireworks. Still cool. Like I was like, they have this kind of budget and this is what they do with the movie, and it did pretty well. Like, good for them, Japan. Awesome. But I was just like, that would never fly here. In 2002, that would not fly here. But to be fair, it was still better than Roland Emmerich's film. That's not even a joke.
Man. See, that was another one.
Oh, that's the one that I should have talked about.
That's one that I saw as a kid. And you look at it and you're like, whoa, Godzilla, he's so cool.
God, I watched it recently. And I had to stop watching it. I loved that movie as a kid. But the CGI in that movie is so bad.
That's the other thing. So aside from the fact that movie, you wear nostalgia glasses and you're fine to remember it, but you should never take them off and rewatch it. But
it's a rehash of The Lost World, by the way.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So with that, everyone who talks about like, oh, what do I show my kid? Like all of the new TV shows are kind of dumb. They're kind of stupid. Don't have great messages and morals, or
you
don't
have to rewatch
like
what you're gonna show your kids.
I'm like, just show them whatever you watch. Kids do not care.
They don't.
Like, that's the number one thing that I find hilarious about it is just like, have you taken a moment to watch anything that you remember fondly from your childhood?
The first 5 seasons of SpongeBob are still fantastic.
Yes.
Danny Phantom was still fantastic.
Yes.
The Fairly Odd Parents, the first 3 seasons, I think, were pretty great.
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron, regardless of how the CG looked, is a great show.
Yes.
Rewatch because
but that's another example of nostalgia glasses.
Yeah, no, but when I was a kid, I was like, wow, I can't believe there's a show like this on Nickelodeon. This is so cool.
And it's just like the movie.
Yeah, and then
you watch the movie and the show as an adult, and you're like, oh, whoa, no, those have dramatically different budgets.
It's like the E3 cutscene versus the in-game cutscene.
Yeah.
You know? It's Cyberpunk 2077. That's all Jimmy Neutron is.
Yeah, no, because, again, working with youngins, we showed them, we just show them Jimmy Neutron or whatever every once in a while. And some of them are like, why does it look like that? And I'm like, oh, gosh, I am old.
The kids now don't even know how... I feel so old saying that. They don't know how blessed they are with all the cool stuff that they have now. And it's just, but I feel like the shows that we watched as kids were better written overall. The humor is so good.
Some of them.
Some of the... Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
Some of them were just dumb nonsense.
Yeah. They're still fun. I mean, Chowder is dumb nonsense.
But it's well-written humor.
Yeah, yes. And that's the reason why it's my favorite cartoon. I think I've already watched Chowder like 5 times.
Yeah.
I love Chowder. But, okay, let me ask you this then. What is a piece of media that you have gone back to, a show or a movie, that holds up?
Yeah.
Regardless of, like, taking off the nostalgia glasses and you watch it again and you're like, this is still incredible.
I mean, for me, it's watching all of the cartoons that I remember. Because Hulu has a bunch of, like, all of the stuff that I grew up on.
We had an episode where we talked about all this stuff.
Yes. But, I mean, the thing is, the shows you don't remember, you often don't remember for a reason. Like, I was looking up just random stuff that I'm like, oh, I remember watching this show all the time. I forgot what it was recently. Oh, it was something like My Dad the Rock Star or whatever.
I don't remember.
Hold on, let me find the stupid image of it. It was on Nick. My Dad the Rock Star. Yeah, animated series. Here we go. My Dad the Rock Star. It had pretty good music. It was started, program creator Gene Simmons, and for...
Really?
Yeah, Gene Simmons.
What?
From Kiss, the band, yes. This show.
Oh my gosh. Okay, my brain just fired right now. I have seen this.
So...
So is he in
So
in
I
the
remember...
show?
Huh?
Is he in the show?
No, but he was the guy who spearheaded it, came up with the idea and everything.
I feel
he was
like
executive.
I feel like that's just based on Gene Simmons.
It is. I mean, 100% it is. Like, everything about the dad character. But I was like, whoa, I remember the show. It was great. And then I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is really mediocre. And the animation is bad. Like, this... It is very flat. It is very 2D, and the characters that are not the main characters, you can tell, like, yeah, the animation.
Like off-brand Rugrats.
Oh my gosh, someone did DeviantArt. They did it
you know that your show made it when someone does DeviantArt about it.
It looks so bad. This is gonna be the image that I.
No, that's so embarrassing.
Look at their hands are like touching.
Bro,
like,
at least make sure that you credit the DeviantArt person.
Oh, I will. Big Purple Muppet.
Oh God, never mind. Oh God.
Big Purple Muppet 99.
I'm just glad
they have a. Oh, I don't like that profile image. Gosh, Vince, you said I should credit. Hold on, they have one from Fairly Odd Parents.
No, it's supposed to be Tootie and Timmy.
No, look at how thick the lines are.
Go to the next one. The next one doesn't look that bad.
Huh?
That one's better.
They improved their skill over time. They improved
a lot. Look at the other ones. Oh my gosh.
Hold on. What year is this from? This one is from 2012.
That was 8 years ago. Yeah, they better have progressed during that time.
Then this is 2014. This is 2 years of progress, Vince.
Big Purple Muppet 99. We apologize if you ever watch this. You have improved a lot. That one's good though. That one's actually pretty solid.
Yeah. But yeah, the show. This was one that just you don't remember it because
for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. It is inconsequential, and then you remember it after seeing like something that makes you think about it, and then you're like, oh, I remember that, and then you watch it, and then you're like, oh,
never mind.
No.
I really miss Hi Hi Puffy Yumi Yumi. I need to find a place. Do you think HBO Now has it?
Or HBO Max? Yeah, probably.
Oh, I can check.
I mean, that's Warner Brothers, and they have all of Cartoon Network stuff.
Okay, I'll have to check when I get home.
But
okay, let me talk about two mediums that we both probably watched as kids, but we can agree that they're probably just as good, if not better, now in our adulthood.
Uh-huh.
The first one, the one that everyone is going to know, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
That came out in what, 2006?
Yeah.
I was 12 at the time. I was a wee lad when that show came out.
Boy,
I know.
I'm gonna make you feel old because I was 7.
I know. But to me, it's crazy because I've seen that show about 5 times.
Yeah.
It is a fantastically written show.
I mean, I've seen people who discuss a lot of different wide swaths of topics. I don't know if you know him, Sargon.
Yes, I do.
He has a bunch of analyses on Azula as a villain.
Yeah.
And he talks about, like, how that goes in the process, and her as a character and things like that you're just like, interesting.
The crazy thing is, that series presents so many adult things.
Yes.
That a child can understand.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's just for children. I know people who are, because granted, it's not an anime, but it is a cartoon.
It's an anime.
I think it is, personally. But people who are not into anime love that series to death.
Yeah.
Because it is, one, it's fantastically written. Two,
yeah.
the fights are incredible when they do happen.
Mm-hmm.
Three, the voice acting is probably some of the strongest English voice acting out there. I would say that it rivals Cowboy Bebop. Because I love Cowboy Bebop's.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But Avatar: The Last Airbender, I don't look at one character and think, yeah, they probably should have put someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit down, rewrite it, and just like, you know what? Steve Blum is Aang. Like, that's not going to happen. You know? Phil Lamar as Sokka. Oh, gosh, that actually sounds awful. Never mind. I love Phil Lamar, but I don't think he could pull off Sokka.
I'm just imagining Wilt
doing all of Sokka's voice lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Yeah. It's Boomerang.
Yeah. That's awful. I think Grey is it Grey Delisle? Grey Delisle? I think she's British, so it's probably Delisle.
Whatever.
She's fantastic as Azula.
Yeah.
And you know, Dante Bosco as Zuko.
Yeah.
He has probably the strongest redemption arc ever written in any form of like animated media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know that I'm a very big avid anime watcher.
Yeah.
Nothing I've seen is as good as his arc alone.
Yeah. The funniest thing is, oh gosh, what was I watching that talked about it? It was Emp Lemon. He has a video on villains that he put out recently that kind of talked about that and what makes a good villain.
Was it like a week or two ago?
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it. I haven't finished watching it.
Yeah, it's really good. And the funniest thing is, I also was watching, The Mandalorian has this thing called The Gallery, which is basically just all the behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Talking with directors and all that. And Dave Filoni, first of all, he called Avatar an anime. And considering he wrote for the show, I'm going to give him the credence on that.
Yeah.
I forgot what else I was going to say. My mind just totally farted. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move swiftly on, other than the fact that I watched that and Dave Filoni's in it and he talked about it.
The other thing I was going to say, the other one that I would say that still holds up today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, personally speaking, just as a side note, if you haven't seen The Last Airbender and you're very against cartoons or anime because you think they're for kids, watch The Last Airbender. That will change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
I think everyone at some point in their life should watch it. It's fantastic. I will say there was one person in our group chat that said, "Can Aang beat Goku?" So we blocked him. That made me sad, but it had to be done.
Swift justice.
Yeah, I love democracy. The other form of media, I would say for me personally, that holds up even now, The Iron Giant.
Yes. Yes.
It is. The animation is still really good, all things considered.
It's because 2D animation, if care is put into it, unlike My Dad the Rockstar, it holds up pretty well. If it's not Flash animation.
But was it just 2D? I thought it was also 3D with the robot, with the giant.
I mean, it was some small 3D segments, but it was, by and large, 2D animation.
Yeah.
But it was before the age of Flash animation where you could do it cheaply and make it look,
So we know that movie is based on a book. It's a very is it Brad Bird who directed that one? I think so, right?
Is it?
I'm almost 100% sure it's him.
I don't remember.
I think I remembered watching. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry to everyone who's listening because that is dumb on my part.
Yeah.
I know that they were going to attempt to make a second one, and to be honest, as much as I love that movie to death, it is Brad Bird, by the way. It can't. It can't. I love the Incredibles to death. I did want a sequel. I just wish they would have came up with a different one.
Yeah, it didn't need to be that one.
Exactly. Yeah, so the cast is incredible for the Iron Giant.
Yeah, man, Vin Diesel.
I wish Vin Diesel is probably the smartest actor on the planet because he gets paid millions to grunt into a camera.
Yeah. He's very successful at it.
I mean, he does it with Groot. He did it with the Iron Giant. He does it in the Fast and Furious movies. As much as it's not intentional in those movies, he does do that.
Yeah. I mean, he is also slated to be in the Arc animated series.
That's right. I'm gonna watch that.
It's going to be better than the games, without a doubt.
That's not a high bar.
No, it isn't. But it's going to be better than the games. The trailer alone is better than the games.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm just hoping that Vin Diesel plays a dinosaur.
my God.
I just wanted to continue the trend of if you don't see Vin Diesel's face,
then you're gonna make all the money.
Yeah.
That is the formula. By the way, Iron Giant didn't make that much money.
No, it didn't.
But it still was very critically acclaimed.
Yes.
Gosh, I love Vin Diesel. He's not a great actual actor, but a voice actor, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Every time. But
he's good at making noises.
He is. That's actually harder than you think.
Yeah.
You know that D. Bradley Baker, who voices Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars series, also does a bunch of animal noises. I think he's voiced several Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
That is hard, but going back, my brain. Iron Giant, super great movie, very well written. I don't think it's anything new. Wasn't something that I hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. Literally just reminds me of Jet Jaguar. But the movie is so well told.
Yes.
It's very lighthearted, but gets really heavy when it wants to. I still think we had discussed this scene off of Mike, but
who's Mike?
That's funny. Where's the new Canada man?
Where's the giant man?
Oh gosh, that's such a
good meme.
It is, and the I think you know this because I've talked about it, but I don't think the listeners know this. My life motto is actually based on that movie. You are who you choose to be. Mm-hmm. Because he's a giant robot who is basically designed to destroy everything, but he doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
Just because you're typecasted into something doesn't mean that's what you need to be. You need to decide that for yourself.
Yes.
Which is one of the reasons why I love that movie so much. It has a very good, solid message. The funny bits are legitimately funny. The voice acting is incredible. What's his name? The coffee guy. My brain is going blank right now.
Coffee guy.
Is it Harry Connick Jr.? I think
something. I don't remember.
I forget who plays him, but he's my favorite character in that. Besides the actual giant, I don't think we're ever gonna get another movie where the lead is going to be named Hogarth.
True.
So big rip to that. But the movie, I think it's I watched it, I think last year, and I cried just as much as I did as a kid because that movie's fantastic. It still holds up.
Yeah. But go show your kids good things. Don't trust nostalgia glasses.
Yeah,
but
if you're gonna show them good things, have them watch some of your heavy hitters from when you were a kid, like My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Yeah.
Just
throw your kids out in the dirt.
Yeah.
Just let them live out in the mud for a while. They don't even need TV. You don't even have to pay for electricity. They're just out in the dirt.
That's actually probably a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Build an immunity. With that solid advice, we have gone on for almost 50 minutes on an episode that I thought would have been shorter.
I'm so sorry.
It is fine. We had good discussion. But I was like, with this topic, we'll probably go for a little bit less, It's not something
But then I started
crazy.
gushing about the two that I brought up at the end. So
yeah, it's your fault.
it is.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that.
All right. Anyway, we bid you adieu until next week or whenever I upload these because I'm really good at editing on a consistent schedule. But yeah, you'll hear us again at some point.
It has been fun. This is Vince.
It is Richard. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of the VR Shiz Show.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.